My solution to this challenge looks like this. Yours will probably look different, and as long as it returns some information about the system and looks nice, that's just fine. Let's take a look at the script that I built for this. Here at the very top, I have the shebang line, and then I start defining a few variables. The first one is free space, which uses the df command and a couple options to get the free space available on the root volume, which is represented by the backslash. That information is piped into grep with a simple regular expression to match that line, and then that's piped into another utility to print out the specific information that I want to get at. After that, I have green text, bold, and normal, which are 3 formatting strings that I'll use later on. And then there's a variable called logDate. That's using the date command to print out the current date, the 4-digit year, represented by capital Y, the month, and the date. After that, I define a variable called logFile, which concatenates together that log date with _report.log. So that'll generate the name of a file using today's date. Then I have echo for the first line of my output, and I'm using some of the formatting strings, making the whole string bold, and then I'm using the hostname variable, which comes from bash, to get the hostname of my system, and that's going to be in green. And then at the end of that line, I reset the styles to normal. Then I use printf a couple times, using pretty much the same construction. I have a tab character here at the beginning, and then a label, system type, bash version, free space, and files and directory, and generated on. And then I have another tab character to keep everything lined up, and then I have a format specifier for string, and then a new line. And so into this first one, into this string, I have mock type, which tells me the machine type, and that comes from bash. In the next line, I have bash version, which is pretty self-explanatory. Then I have free space, which comes from this df command up here using grep and awk. Then I have a listing of the files in the current directory, which is using command substitution with the ls command, piping into a utility called wc for word count with the option -l, which counts the number of lines, which with ls equates to the number of things in the directory. In the next line here, I'm using command substitution as well with the date command using that format specifier that we saw earlier to get the date as month, day, and year. And then I have a comment over here. This is the US date format. So if you're in Europe or Africa or Asia, somewhere else that has a different standard date format, you'll probably have a different date format if you've used a date in your script. Then I have echo with a formatted string again, saying that a summary of this information has been saved to the log file. And then I start writing to the log file using a here document, basically passing 2 lines, terminated by EOF in this case, into cat, and I'm using the dash modifier here so that these tab lines aren't represented in the file that I'm writing out. And then I'm using redirection here to take the output of cat and put that into the log file, which is, as you'll remember, the date_report.log. I'm using printf, again with some format specifiers, to print just a summary of that information that I displayed on the screen out to a file. So I have sys, and then the mock type, bash for the bash version, and then the bash version variable. And you'll notice here I'm using the double greater than symbol so that I don't step on what's in log file, I just add to the bottom of that log file. So that's my script, and then you can see that it's created this date_report.log file, so I can take a look at that with cat, and I see here's the information that I specified, that 2 lines of text that I used the here document for, and then the 2 pieces of information that I used printf to print, similar to how I did up here. Remember, the goal of this challenge was to get some practice using bash to solve a problem.